Hey guys! Today I'm going to be going through and decluttering my powder blush collection. I did a poll over on Instagram asking if you guys preferred one super long, gigantic decluttering video where I was going to include all of my blushes, like liquids, creams, powders, everything, or if you preferred two shorter videos, and a majority of people voted for two shorter ones, so that is what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be splitting it up from powders today, and then next time we'll get into liquids, creams, all other formulas. I'm a blush junkie at heart. Even though I don't have the biggest blush collection in the world, I used to have bins and bins of blushes that I've decluttered over the years, and even though I've gotten rid of a lot, there's still just way too much in here that I never touch or use. Even if I really love the color and it makes me happy when I open it, the reality is I'm not using a lot of these. So now I'm actually really excited to do some major damage in this department. So yeah, let's go ahead and get straight into it. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start off with my blush palettes as well as drugstore blushes. This first one is the L'Oreal Infallible Paints palette in the shade 230, and it looks like this. It's a really pretty blush palette. I remember loving this so much when it was first released. It was definitely one of my favorite drugstore blush products that had ever come out. And you can see it has a range of colors here. There's like a soft nude, a bright orange, a hot pink, and then this like softer rosy mauve type of color. I used this a lot when it first came out, and there's a little swatch of the shades there. It's not anything crazy pigmented, but it does actually show up on the skin, and I really did love the range of colors in this palette. I am going to go ahead and get rid of it though, only because I never reach for it all that often, and I think a lot of that is because the pan size is so small. Like, I'm not sure how well you could tell, but a regular blush brush, at least mine, does not fit in this tiny little square. So a lot of times it will pick up other colors that I don't want to pick up. It's fine if you want to like blend all the colors or blend a couple, but if you're trying to just pick up one specific color, sometimes it's not the most user-friendly thing in the world. You have to be a little bit finicky with it. And I do think that there are other colors in my blush collection that are very comparable to the shades in here, so it's just not too practical for me anymore. I have this palette by the company Real Her. It's the Be Fearless, Be Limitless Blush Kit. And this is something that came in a subscription box, I believe. I didn't even take the plastic coating off of it because I knew right away this is something that I did not want to hold on to. And that is because they are kind of like shimmery type of blushes, which I am not about shimmery blushes. There are a few that I do love and hold on to because I like the base color so much, but for these, like this hot orange coral color, this like antique pink, and then there's like a bronzy shade over here, they're not shades that I'm necessarily crazy about. I'm not big on super red tone blushes either, so yeah, I am just gonna go ahead and just pass this on to someone who might love it. I am also going to be passing on this Alamar Cosmetics Blush Trio. This is another one that came in a subscription box, and I know you might be thinking, why do you even subscribe to beauty boxes if you like are decluttering them? 9 times out of 10, I love what comes in my subscription boxes, but every once in a while there's a rogue product, right, that we all are kind of like, I'm not as crazy about this one. Some of these just happen to be those, but yeah, this is the Blush Trio, and the color range is actually really pretty. It's just, again, this is another one that has shimmer to it. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and let this one go too. I have a couple of blushes by Milani, and I have Luminoso as well as Delicioso Pink, and I love Luminoso. I know I'm holding on to this one because it's one of my favorite summer, spring type of blushes. You can see it's just a pale wash of like an apricot orange. It's just like a little kiss of shimmer. It isn't anything too crazy or looks really, really bad on like my enlarged pores or anything, because it has a very soft sheen to it, but I love this color. I think it's a very light, kind of neutral summer type of blush. Next is Delicioso Pink, which I think I am gonna go ahead and let go of. The formula for the Milani blushes are amazing. They are so pigmented and soft. They blend really easily. So I really, really do love the formulas of these blushes. And I wish that they would come out with more shades because I would pick up more. Or if there's a color out there that you guys really like, let me know. Maybe I'll check it out. But no. I'm trying to declutter. What am I saying? See? This is how it starts. Don't recommend anything to me. I know I don't use this a whole lot. I'm not so much into purple tone blushes. I feel like I have other like hot pink options in here that I would reach for before this one. So for that reason alone, I'm gonna go ahead and let this guy go. This is one of my all-time favorites, so it's not going anywhere. It's the Essence Blush Up Powder Blush in the shade Heat Wave. I don't know if Essence still carries this blush, but if they do, I highly, highly recommend it. It's this beautiful ombre blush. You can see it kind of goes like from a tropical orange to this like warm papaya peach color. I feel like this just looks like summer in a blush, right? Like it looks like a sunset. It's so pretty and vibrant, and I love that you can really kind of customize it. If you want to go more orange or more pink, you can definitely lean either way. But here's a little swatch of the color. It's just like a warm, fresh orange on the cheeks. It's really pretty. It doesn't pull too red on my skin. And yeah, like I said, it just looks like summer in blush form to me. I have a couple of Sonia Kashuk blushes, which are another favorite drugstore brand when it comes to blushes. I really enjoy the both of these. This one is the shade Sunset, and this is the color Flushed. And there is the color Sunset. And then here's the shade Flush, which you can see is a really super vibrant, bright, Barbie pink kind of color. And I think I am going to hold on to this one only because I think if I am going to hold on to like a bright pink blush like this, it would be this one, because I really do like the way it looks on the skin. Not so much alone on the cheeks, but added just for a little extra pop of color. I really love the way this looks. And you can see it has a less of a purple tone in there versus Delicioso Pink. This next one is the only e.l.f. blush I have, which blows my mind because there was a time where I had every single blush in this little like NARS-esque line that they came out with. I don't know if they still even package their blushes this way, but this is the last remaining one, and it's in the shade Pink Passion. You can see it's another super bright, I'm trying to find a clean finger here, vibrant shade. Ooh, wow. So you can see Pink Passion actually has a little bit of a softer hue to it versus Flushed, which is more of like a hot pink shade. So I think I am going to continue to hold on to this one. I have a couple of Wet n Wild blushes, which I don't even remember the last time I touched these, so I can tell you right away I'm probably going to let them go. This first one is the shade Pearlescent Pink. I had a hair tie right here, by the way, so that's what that little line is, just FYI. It's a really pretty soft rose color, but there is kind of like a chunkier gold glitter running through it. The Sonia Kashuk one, the glitter in it is definitely a lot more fine, where this has slightly more chunky glitter, and I don't think that the color is anything that amazing, so I'm gonna go ahead and let go of Pearlescent Pink. And then the next is Mellow Wine. And there is a swatch of Mellow Wine, which actually leans a little bit more of like a brick red tone. It has some brown tones in there as well, but I am trying to stay away from red blushes. I feel like they age me. And also too, sometimes I get self-conscious with red blushes because I naturally suffer from redness in my skin. Even if I have layers of foundation and concealer covering it, something about red blush triggers me a little bit when I apply it because I feel like it's just immediately bringing out the redness in my nose and inner cheeks. So yeah, it's just not really my vibe anymore, and I will go ahead and let this one go too. I made sure to prepare plenty of makeup remover wipes for this video. I have two e.l.f. blush palettes, so I guess technically this isn't the only e.l.f. blush that I own, but it's the only single e.l.f. blush that I own. And I do have the shades Dark and Light. Here is the color Light, which I really did love this palette. This is another one where I just really enjoyed the range of colors they offered in here. There they are there. And you can see the pigmentation is beautiful on these. They apply very well, but I cannot tell you the last time I pulled this out and used it. And I have on a few occasions like pulled it out of my drawers and stuck it on my vanity to force myself to use it. And even then I don't really touch it. So I'm gonna go ahead and let go of this guy. And then this one is the shade Dark. And I'm gonna go ahead and let go of the dark one. I swatched just a couple of shades here because obviously this is a very deep toned palette and I'm not as crazy about the like rich red tones in here. So I'm also gonna let this guy go too, though I really almost never use this one. So I don't really feel bad about letting it go. I have this super random mini sample of Frat Boy by the Balm Cosmetics. I remember this used to be like one of the must-have blushes here on YouTube a long time ago, but to be honest, I really didn't like it. It didn't show up on me all that well. And yeah, I'm just going to pass this on. I have a few of these Milani rose blushes, which I still remember when these came out and driving from drugstore to drugstore to hunt them down because everywhere I would go, they were sold out. I wanted them so bad because they were so unique and beautiful. And I have 3 shades. I have Coral Cove, Romantic Rose, and Tea Rose. And there is the swatch of the shade Tea Rose, which is a nice mid-tone mauve-y rosy pink. Next is the shade Romantic Rose, which is a little bit deeper of a shade. It's kind of like a warm brownish mauve. And then finally Coral Cove. I'm gonna go ahead and let go of Coral Cove because I never ever use it. It's such a fun color, but I don't ever wear it. It's a little bit too intense for me, so I am gonna go ahead and let go of Coral Cove. I think I wanna hold on to Tea Rose because I really do like these types of shades, like mid-tone rosy mauve pinks. I think they're really flattering on me, so I'll hold on to that. And then I'm also gonna let go of Romantic Rose. It's very rare that I reach for deeper tone blushes, and if I do, there's one shade I go to every single time, which I'll probably share in a couple of minutes. But yeah, for that reason alone, I am gonna go ahead and let this go just because it doesn't really get very much use. Finally, I have some NYX blushes, and NYX blushes are, again, some of my favorite drugstore brand for blushes. Really, any of their powder products I'm always pretty decently happy with. And this first one is in the shade Espresso. Here's the shade Espresso here. It's just a very soft, warm rose color. It's weird. I actually really like the color, but something in me just wants to let it go. I think it's just because, again, there's another shade like this that I reach for much more frequently, and I would rather continue to just use that up rather than keep this around and it never get touched or used, so passing that one on. This next one I'm holding on to for sure. It's one of my all-time favorites, and it is the color Cinnamon. And this is a really fun, true orange color. I don't really wear it by itself on my cheeks, but to mix with other blushes, if I ever just want to add a little pop of orange without adding shimmer, this is such a fun color to add onto the cheeks. I also really like using this as an eyeshadow sometimes, like in the crease. It's really, really pretty for summertime, and I will continue to hold on to that. Next is the color Peach, and Peach I will go ahead and let go of. It's a very soft, innocent type of pink color. It's very natural on the cheeks. It's just a little bit too pale for me, so I'm gonna let this one go. Next is the color Mocha, and then there's the color Mocha there, which is really pretty. It's, again, another one where I feel like it pulls a little bit red. Gonna go ahead and just let this one go as well. I have the color Dusty Rose, and there's the color Dusty Rose. It is really, really pretty swatched out, but that purple tone in there, I'm not the biggest fan of. I think that's what keeps me away from this blush a lot, is because it has such a prominent purple tone to it, and I'm just not into like purple tone blushes anymore. So I'm gonna go ahead and let go of that one. And then finally is the shade Rose Garden. It's a really fun bright pink, but it does have gold glitter running through it. I don't really reach for bright pinks all that often anyways, so that in combination with the glitter, I just know it's not gonna get used, so I'm gonna go ahead and let this go too. Okay, now I'm gonna be moving into more higher end blushes. I have all my MAC blushes here as well as ones from NARS. I mentioned that there is one warm fall tone type of blush that I reach for a lot, and this is the blush that I've been talking about. It is the shade Gingerly by MAC, which I love to death and will continue to hold onto it. I think I got this one fairly recently because I ran out of my old one. It's kind of like a warm peach, but it has a little bit of a brown undertone in there, which makes it, I think, really pretty for fall and winter. This color I think I'm gonna get rid of. It's the shade Fresh Honey. It's their mineralized blush, and yes, the little plastic cap is gone. It got up in the middle of the night and ran away and never came back, so it happens. There's another blush in here too that is like that, but again, this is Fresh Honey, which looks like that. It's actually a really unique blush shade. It's kind of like a yellow tone, pale creamsicle orange kind of color. And to be honest, it is a pretty color. It just doesn't show up on me all that well. And I think the yellow tone in there too sometimes makes me look a little bit sallow. I think if I like orange, it's got to be slightly on the warmer side, where this is a little bit of like a cool toned orange, if that makes any sense at all. Like, it's got warmth in there, but definitely like a stronger yellow base. So it's an interesting color. It just isn't one I ever use, so I'm gonna let go of it. This next one is a limited edition color, I think, and it's the shade Sun and Moon, and it's a really pretty mineralized blush. Now, this is one that does have shimmer in it, but I like the color of it so much, I'm willing to put up with that shimmer in there. It's kind of like a mixture of copper and antique pink. This one doesn't even have a sticker on it anymore, so I can't even tell you what it is, but yeah, I'm still holding on to it. Obviously, it gets a lot of love because I hit pan on it. This next one is the color Warm Soul. This is another warmer mauvey brownish tone blush that I do actually reach for. I do love this color, and I actually think the glitter works well with this because the base is kind of like a warm soft rose, and then it has like this rich light glitter coming through it. It's a very pretty combination once it's actually on the skin. So even though there's some shimmer in there, I don't mind it so much because I think it works together really, really well. Next, I have the shade Margin, which is actually something I use more so as a blush topper, but it does change from like pink to copper depending on how the light hits it. It gives a very kind of sun-kissed goddessy type of look. Pink Cult, I think I'm gonna go ahead and finally let go of. I really wanted to love this blush, and it just doesn't work for me all that well. That's the color there. It's kind of like a malt type of color, like a white toned, pale, grayish, pinky purple. It doesn't work for me all that well, so I am gonna go ahead and let go of that one. Peaches, I know I'm still gonna hold on to because it's one of my all-time favorites. It looks like that. It has kind of like a papaya melon type of tone to it, and I'm going to hold on to it. Next is the shade Cubic, which I actually really do like this color. When I look at it in the pan, it actually looks very boring, and I would have never purchased it had it not been for my friend who was working for MAC at the time, and he recommended it to me as like a really good everyday neutral type of blush. Just very neutral and natural and easy to wear with anything. And then finally is my old dear bestie, my ride or die, which is Melba. And yes, it's lost its plastic cap. I've gone through so many Melbas, I can't even tell you. I've broken them, they're beaten. I'm sure they're in places I will never find again because I just repurchased this blush over and over again, and I love it. I feel like if there is one blush I had to choose or wear for the rest of my life, it would be Melba. And there it is there. It's such a pretty peachy pink color. It's okay, girl, you're a little beat up, but I still love you. Next, I have some NARS blushes, which I'll quickly go through. And a lot of these broke today when I opened them. I don't know what happened. It's like the packaging literally crumbled, so that's not good. But this first one is the shade Gina, and I love it. I'll continue to hold on to it. It's just a soft pumpkin orange color. This is the color Orgasm, which I am for sure letting go of. I never touch this blush. There's it there. I think on some people this blush looks absolutely stunning, but on me it just looks a little too red, and I'm just not crazy about it. So next is the color Gaiety, which actually looks very close to that ELF blush I swatched earlier. And there's the color Gaiety. I'm actually gonna do a quick comparison to see. So I think I am gonna go ahead and let go of that ELF shade. These are just obviously very, very close in color. There's no point in me holding on to both. So I am gonna go ahead and let go of this ELF one after all. Next, I have the color Deep Throat, which is another one that broke when I opened it today. So yeah, this used to be my go-to shade for a long time, and you probably can't even see, but there's a pretty big dip in the center there because I used to wear it almost every single day. It looks like that. It's just a soft rosy color, but I am going to let go of this. I never ever reach for it anymore. And then finally is the color Luster. And I've mentioned, guys, if you're not familiar with NARS packaging, it is disgusting. It gets sticky and gross, and there's no cleaning it other than maybe with like a magic eraser, which I don't have the energy to do that. And it's just another one that's really pretty to mix with other shades. It has a slightly tannish brown tone to it. It's not super orangey, so it's really pretty in the summer with a tan. I do like this color. Okay guys, final round of blushes. So starting up here from the front, this is one of my favorite everyday blushes. It is the Becca blush in the color Wild Honey. It's just a really pretty tannish orange color. It has a little bit of a sheen in there, but just, I love this shade on the cheeks. I have a couple of Lorac blushes that I also use a lot, so I'm definitely holding on to these. They are the Buildable Blush Mattes in the color Technicolor and Prism. And there's the shade Technicolor. It's kind of like an amped up version of Melba. That's the best way I can describe it. It's a slightly warmer and brighter, if that makes any sense. And then this other shade is Prism, which is more of like a neutral, everyday type of color. Looks like that. Obviously, I love tones or shades that have a slight peach color to them. I think they're very flattering on me. So I'm holding on to that guy too. I have this one that I actually got from a subscription box, which, shocker, I'm holding on to it. It's the color, or I'm sorry, the brand Note, and it's in the shade Desert Rose. And it looks so pretty. I haven't even had a chance to try this on my skin yet, but just swatched out so far. I love this color, and yeah, just my kind of color. So I'm holding on to this guy. Now I have a bunch of these little mini Tarte blushes that I think I got in a blush kit a really long time ago, and I've already let go of some of those, but I think I'm ready to get rid of most of these. So these first two are the colors Fantastic and Splendor. Splendor is kind of like a red tone shimmery shade. I know right away I'm getting rid of it. And then Fantastic, I think, is really close to that color Gaiety. There's a little swatch of it there. It's slightly more on the chalky side. And yeah, because I don't even reach for these types of shades all that frequently to begin with, it doesn't make any sense to hold on to it, so I'm gonna let go of that. I'm also gonna let go of the shade Stellar, which is more like a bronzer type of shade, but you can see it has a lot of chunky glitter running through it. And I think the only little mini one out of all those I am gonna hold on to is the shade Magic. Here is what the color looks like. It's a really pretty, fun pink. I just love it so much. The last Tarte blush I have is one of their full-size blushes, and it's in the shade Exposed. I don't ever use this. There was a time where I did, and I think I just got over it. It wasn't worth the hassle of trying to build up the color on my cheeks, and yeah, I'm just not crazy about it anymore. If you're wondering too what this is, it's glue because the little mirror came off. And yeah, gonna let that one go. I have this really pretty ombre blush that came from Estee Lauder. It's just in the pan. I haven't put it in a Z palette, but it is really pretty. It's just like an ombre type of shade, and I'll hold on to that. I don't even know if they make this anymore, so I'm not gonna swatch it. I'm also gonna continue to hold on to this Botanic Farm blush in the shade Soft Coral because I never even opened it. It's still in its original plastic packaging, so I have to try that guy out. This one is by Estee Lauder. It's in the color Sheer Amorose. This is the color that I think they said Kim Kardashian wore on her wedding, not to Kanye West, but to the guy she married before. I don't even remember his name. I ran out and grabbed it, and it's a very soft color. It does not show up on me all that well. I always want it to work for me, and it just doesn't, so I think I'm just gonna let this one go too. This next one is by Laura Geller. It's the Blush and Brighten in Golden Apricot. You can see there's just this beautiful fusion of gold and orange and apricot shades. Kind of has like a duochrome effect on the skin. It isn't anything too glittery, and yes, there's a shimmer in there, so if you're not into that kind of thing, I wouldn't recommend it. It's not something I pull out a lot, but when I do, it just looks very tropical and beachy on the skin. That's what I think of when I look at this blush. It just reminds me of like fresh from the beach type of color. This next one is by Sigma. It's the Coeur de Rose Aura Powder. I think this is something that I got in PR from them a pretty long time ago, maybe a couple years ago now. And I loved a lot of things that they did send, but this was something that I just was not super crazy about. It looks really pretty swatched out, but the pigmentation is very light. So for that reason, I am gonna let it go. The color itself is really pretty. Maybe if you're a lighter skin tone, it would show up on you better. Okay, and then the final two blushes that I have are by Illamasqua, and I'm definitely holding on to the both of these. This first one is in the shade Tremble. And then I don't even know what this one is called because the name is totally rubbed off. I'm so sad that Illamasqua is not inside of Sephora anymore. This was one of my favorite brands to like peruse and shop. And their powder or like blush formulas, hands down, are my absolute favorite over MAC, over anything. They are the softest powders in the world. So there is the shade Tremble, which is a really very like youthful, innocent pink color. It isn't nearly as hot pink as like Gaiety. It's a little bit of a softer tone. And then this one, which I don't even know the name of it, looks like that. It's kind of like a warm, creamy tangerine color. Can't say enough good things about these, and I just love them and will continue to use them up. All right, guys, so here is the final result. Overall, I got rid of 26 blushes, which is so insane. I'm so happy though to let go of this. I just feel so much less anxiety almost when I look at my makeup. Like even when I look at all of this, I'm like, how am I going to use up all these blushes? But it's definitely a lot better than looking at all of this. If you guys did enjoy this decluttering, please be sure to give the video a like. And if you're new to my channel, definitely don't forget to subscribe because I have more decluttering videos coming up. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.